it hot.
All right,
They
here we
make it
go.
hot.
Welcome back, Real Talk family, to another episode of Real Talk and Real Estate. I am your man, the money man, Smith. Of course, in the building with me, I got my co-host. I got the philosopher and the closer. What's up, fellas?
What's the deal, man? Let's make this thing rock.
Y'all doing all right today, man?
Yeah, this
all
for this
right,
whole
all right.
this whole 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, I know. I feel, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we just had a party up in this thing. It was so many people packed in
I
here
know,
like
right?
sardines up in this joint.
It was hot, and nobody said nothing about it being hot. You know
Yeah,
what
it
I'm
was
saying?
hot.
Hey,
Hot,
that's
no
what you
fan.
know. That's when you know you're having a good time.
Yeah.
Because
All that body heat.
ain't nobody say it was hot. We
Hey.
just kept talking.
Hey, look, the body heat was so strong in here, the philosopher glasses started fogging up.
For real, like damn, man.
It started fogging up in here, man. Both lenses.
Oh man.
God, no. But anyways, we're gonna get started on this next topic, this next episode. We are here to talk about the topic of today is marketing versus branding. Just to kind of break that out for y'all that think it's kind of one and the same, or it's the same thing. It is not. Branding is kind of a way that a company wants to be known, and it's something that when you think of a certain object, like a beverage, like when you think of a beverage or something to drink, and you think of a soda, you automatically think of Coke or Pepsi. It's a brand like that. McDonald's, if you're thinking about food, there's McDonald's, there's Burger King. You can easily identify with those brands.
And I will simplify it and just say who you are.
Yes.
The brand
absolutely.
is who you are.
Is who you are to the core of who you are. And then, regardless of the message may change a little bit, but the branding kind of stays consistent and stays the same across all platforms. That's a little bit about branding. Now, marketing is just, you throwing out ads or whatever the case may be to try to get more business in. Now,
yes,
marketing can be an assistant to branding a little bit, but you know what I'm saying, for the most part, they're two different things. Now, I toss this to the philosopher. Hey, what is to you, to the philosopher? Philosophize. Don't try to look that up in the dictionary. I know it ain't. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's get your philosophy on what's the main difference or what you think is the most important thing on marketing versus branding.
As far as when you're starting out in business or in business, I think marketing should be the most important thing because at the end of the day, you're still doing it, whatever you're doing, to create revenue. But don't leave the branding out because, like you said, that identifies with who you are. You don't want to be in business and not really have nothing to be known for to say when people look you up or talk to say, okay, yeah, I know McDonald's because of the Golden Arches or Ronald McDonald, the clown, Burger King with whatever they known for. I don't even know what it is no more. The King, I guess. The King guy mascot.
The Whopper.
The Whopper. The Whopper. I think the Whopper. The Whopper was only great because it was 99 cents at one point. At one point.
And it was good.
And
that thing was juicy.
Yeah. So
flame broiled.
Yeah. So when we're out there thinking about what we want to do when it comes down to the marketing and the branding, you just want to make sure that you do not forget the branding side because it can get lost in process while you're trying to earn as much revenue as possible when you're sending out your leads or you're doing your advertising to get the leads to convert it.
Absolutely. So what about you, closer? The Nostradamus? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to remember all these
Aristotle.
names. The Aristotle, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Then you got the Destroyer in a good way.
I tell you what, the Rick James, the real estate.
Rick
You know what I'm saying? It's hard to forget that one.
The Rick James.
The Rick James, the real estate. You know what I'm saying?
He's so crazy.
Hey, what do you think the main difference is?
The between marketing and branding?
Between marketing and branding.
I think the key difference is that the brand is who you are. You can't differentiate from that. That you are what you are. Whereas marketing, you can go in a couple different ways. You can do it. You got a little more flexibility with marketing because that's what's bringing out awareness to other people about your brand.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? Branding is pretty much who you are to the core. And it's pretty much what you want to be known for.
Yeah.
I guess in some respects. Now, when it comes to real estate, there's different ways of trying to get yourself out there to drum in more business. Which one would you say is for those agents that are trying to ramp up their business or those agents that are just now getting licensed? Which is the most important to focus on? Should they focus on branding themselves first, then worry about getting marketing out there for their brand? Or should they just worry about just specific marketing? Hey, look, just get whatever marketing you can out there in order to try to drum up some business. Which one do you think is more important to focus on? Closer?
Well, me personally, I think that in the beginning, you're just trying to get business and you're learning. You know what I mean? You're doing a lot of learning at that time. And even learning who you are as a brand can be a learning curve. You know, who you want to be, what you want people to think of you as a real estate agent or professional or company. And so me personally, if I'm just getting out of school, green pea, just getting out, I'm probably gonna spend my time focused on marketing because my whole goal at that point is to build money so that I can then create the brand that I'd like to create. You know what I mean? At least that's my perspective on it.
100% makes sense. And then what about you, philosopher? What you think?
I agree with the idea of focusing on the marketing, but when it comes down to it, as you get your first deal, right, and you make your way through the whole process, how you do that deal identifies with you, because who you were when you started the deal, you're going to be totally different once you finish, and every deal can actually change your perspective of you as you go through it. Whether you're doing when you're doing a foreclosure deal and you're trying to help save someone's home, your perspective and your idea is different, and who you are at that moment is different, and for that person you become different. If you're just doing a traditional difficult resale, selling not acting right, you know what I'm saying, y'all end up being more combative being more combative through the whole process. Then at that moment you realize who you are in that moment, because we as people through stressful situations kind of tend to cause something to come out of it that we may not have known that was there, and we just have to deal with it and figure out who we are as we go through it.
So now let me ask this. My thing is this: when you talk about, forgot my damn train of thought. Mess around with Walt. Mess around with Walt.
He lost that thing. He lost that thing.
Lost my
Catch
damn
it.
train of thought.
You gotta catch it.
All right, so you know what I'm saying? This is the thing that I like to think about as a real estate agent. When you're talking about real estate, you're talking about being an agent. Does the brand that's behind you or the brokers that's behind you matter when it comes to you actually doing business out there? For your marketing, does your marketing become more effective because of the brand that you have behind you, or does the marketing become important because of the way that you conduct business and the way that you do your marketing?
As a rookie, it's important because nobody knows who you are, and so for us over here at KW, that KW symbol holds value and holds weight in the industry and in the world because it's seen everywhere. And as you start, that's why a lot of rookies kind of go with the bigger brands. It's because it's easier. They can get a deal because I'm a Keller Williams agent and I can help you. And people be like, oh, you were KW? Yeah, such and such, such and such. Yeah, let's try it and see, because that's sometimes you can just walk into a deal that way. But as you grow in the business, you begin to detach or separate yourself from that, because you want people to know that it's you, that you have the skill set, that you have the knowledge to help them, regardless of the brand. But in the beginning, yeah, you do need that big boy brand to kind of help you and get you where you need to be in the beginning.
So see, that's where we kind of disagree, because I would say on the opposing side of it is that it don't matter, regardless if you're doing the business or if you're an experienced agent in the business. If you walk up to a client or a client calls you over the phone, they're not going to necessarily just want to know who you work for. They're going to want to know what kind of information you can provide to them, what kind of value you can bring to them. Very seldom is it you get on the phone and they ask, well, what brokerage you with? What brokerage you work for? I honestly think if they want to do business with you, you could be working for Poo Poo Realty. You can be working for Poo Poo Realty. If they like you and they like the information that you give, they're going to do business with you.
Now, that's a trick side, because if I pick up the phone or if someone calls me and I say, well, if I call someone, the best way to put it, if I call someone and they say, well, such and such, how you doing? My name is Hyman Williams with Keller Williams Realty. You see what I'm saying? It just automatically flows. They may not know me, but they hear, oh, Keller Williams Real Estate. Yeah, I'm a realtor. Okay, cool. That may be the only time I would say it because it maybe it brings down a slight of a wall. Now it doesn't bring everything down, but it brings a slight of a wall. I say, okay, oh, he's a realtor with this known company. I crack a joke all the time with me and Walter. You heard me say it. I use the KW line in certain situations when I'm talking to when I'm talking to another company like a Remax or Central 20. Oh yeah, I'm a KW. I'm a Keller Williams agent. What's going on? Because at that point, because the name in that industry, it carries a little weight. And I ain't gonna say it's heavyweight, but it carries a little weight. Say, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm with the big boys, so you can't look down on me or think you can talk any kind of way or try to think you're gonna talk over my head because you think I'm with a smaller company. And like poo-poo to poo realty. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to be the case. And that happens. And that happens because I know for a fact, if you had asked the closer, he would say some situations they think that if they don't know who you are or what you do. I've even had agents look me up and they'll comment, oh, I didn't know you were broker. Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I see you took the time to go look me up and see what I did. I'm like, that's cool.
Like, all right, I noticed you nosy, but that's okay.
Yeah, you be like, okay.
At least give me my respect that I deserve. I'm a broker. Yeah. But I'm saying, okay, so this is the thing. Have you ever been in a car riding, going to show clients houses or whatever the case may be? They pull up to a house and say, hey, I really want to go take a look at this house because there's a Keller Williams sign in the yard or a Caldwell Banker sign in the yard.
No, they don't really care about that. All they care about is the fact that it's the house and they price and they like it. They don't care who the representation at that moment. That's the only time. The only time the name brand really helps you is when you're a rookie or when you can see that you can get leverage when you're talking to another agent. I also drop the KW is when I'm talking to another KW agent. I really want to know something. Hey man, we sister and brother in this thing. I'm KW Professionals, you KW Memorial. I know the backstory. One of our team lead came from you guys. You know what I'm saying? Such. I name drop to bring down that barrier so we can just talk. And that's just like I say, it's just another thing you just pull out when you need to.
It's a leg up, but I mean, I'm saying now, granted, in everyday life, it's always good to kind of name drop a little bit who we may know, that type of thing. If there's a correlation there, then 9 times out of 10, the wall is dropped. They're willing to divulge a little bit more information.
That is
accurate, but now you could very well possibly know the same people and not necessarily be at the same brokerage. Do you think
that is very true? And when that moment comes about, it's all about your ability to quote unquote pivot. If you're not at the same brokerage and you know the same people, then you just talk about, oh man, I can remember when we was there at such and such, create a story behind it. At those moments, there is a time to say who I represent and there's a time that I don't. Like when I'm talking to let's say a smaller brokerage, I don't even mention that I'm with KW. I just say who I am and that's it. Because I don't want them to think that, oh, I think I'm too much, because there is a reputation that KW agents feel like they just too much, or they feel like they got it all and know it all because of what we do and how well the brand promotes itself. So in some situations, I don't use it, and I judge it as I go. Depends on who I'm calling and who it is.
So then now the other thing is this. I know that there are agents out there that feel like they need they need to name themselves, or they need to brand themselves for something, right? So you know what I'm saying, like, I use, for example, there's a guy out there labeling himself Mr. Real Estate, right? He has a name. There's another person that have named themselves, you know what I'm saying, the home girl, or whatever the case may be.
I've seen that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, there's different people that feels like they have to have almost like a tagline in order to kind of brand themselves and set themselves apart. Their name just can't stand by itself. How important do you think that is for branding their business, that you name yourself something else as opposed to just, kind of branding your regular name?
Well, that's going along with the way society is and quote unquote the marketing techniques. The way things are now with the social media and the hashtags, you have to kind of quote unquote keep inventing something about you so people can consistently relate to you. Just like how when we talked about McDonald's, some of us say it was the Big Mac, some of us say it was the fries, some of us say it was the milkshake back in the early 50s. There is something that the people have to be able to gravitate to and associate themselves with you to know, okay, that's who this is. As far as for the rookies, it makes it being able to brand yourself a lot way less inexpensive than what it used to be because of it. Because you can go online and you can be whoever you choose to be and nobody really have to check you out. All they got to do if they see you post. A friend of mine told me one day, say, man, if you post every day, 3 times a day, your likes and your followers will shoot through the roof. You'll double in followers within a month. Because if you post 3 times a day, and it don't have to be nothing major, just post 3 times a day. And for me, I struggle with that because I feel like I have to bring something valuable when I write something online.
Of course.
And it was like, it ain't really like that. You just got to write something 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when people start seeing you posting breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they want to see what you're talking about. Why is this dude popping up on my timeline all the time? And then once you get them, once they do that, then you have them, and then you, at that moment, you've become, your brand has kind of taken over as whatever you're doing. So I thought that was super duper fly.
But see, now that brings about another question though, because is consistency more important than the actual value of the content that you're putting out there? Because you know what I'm saying, if you're posting 3 times and you're not really putting any value, you just want to be seen by people. Like, hey, look, the philosopher has posted again, as opposed to strategic posts that adds value and give good information. Like, how do you, when you're running a business, how do you determine which one is more important? Or when you kind of increasing your brand, how do you determine which one is more important?
I think the idea with branding, it's about getting more eyeballs to you. You know what I'm saying? Getting more eyeballs. Like we stated in the beginning, marketing is the ability to generate revenue. So when you're branding, all you want is people to come. So your content doesn't have to be as valuable. But once you have them, either you have them subscribe to your website, friends with you on Facebook, friends with you on Instagram, and all those different things, then you begin to shoot the valuable content. So you will have you'll have your content, and then you'll have the stuff that you just put to make people come back to you. I think that they kind of actually got to go hand in hand, and you try to put a little more content than just random shit you just put out there. Hey, this is me. Come check me out. I'm eating at Kung Fu Chow, orange chicken. You know what I'm saying?
Come get this shrimp fried rice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. When crawfish season was in, it seemed like everybody posting something about eating the bugs,
Right.
one way or another.
Right.
And I realized that that's all they're doing is making people see them, see them. And then every now and again, you'll hear something about what they do. Because that's all they want to get your eyeballs focused on what they're doing.
And you know what? I completely agree with the whole fact of, and it's just everyday marketing stuff that you see. Like, the more consistent it is, and the more I see it, eventually, I give in. Either you give in, or you get to that one point where you're just like, okay, well, look, I need XYZ. Well, man, I keep getting these ads. I keep seeing these marketing, these videos, whatever the case may be, about this one thing. Just left. Don't bother us again. I'm gonna tell your mama. You know I'm cool with her. I'm gonna tell your mama. Yeah, I do. You're gonna have to chop all that stuff out. I forgot my thought.
You lost it again.
Lost the point again. Distractions.
It was about the content versus at some point you're gonna give in.
Yeah, so at some point you're gonna give in, right? So, if you absolutely need something, I don't care what it is, XYZ or whatever the case may be, the first thing gonna pop into your mind is the most consistent thing that has been in front of your face for the past few weeks, months, days, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly think that value is a good thing, but the consistency of being in front of people is more important than anything.
Right. And I don't disagree with that. And I just, like I say, that I learned that about a few weeks back when my partner told me about it. And you ever see that sign? I'm gonna show how fly it is. You ever see that sign coming down? You exit Steuben Airline, you make that right onto Steuben Airline. You see that the agent that's standing up there, him and his son, with the spike dude that works for Remax. When we leave out today, you're gonna see it because they right there on the right hand side. Like they don't say nothing. It just has them two and it says realtor, Remax realtor. Something.
You talking about the husband and wife?
Either the husband and wife or the son and something. I think it's two of them. It's one of the husband and wife. They got on the Texas shirts. Right. They right here on Spring Cypress.
Okay.
And then right here on Steuben Airline is the son, the father son duo standing back to back.
Gotcha. Okay.
They don't say nothing. They're just them sitting up there in a picture in Remax, and that's it.
And I can imagine they probably get a whole bunch of calls because people pass that every
Every
day.
day.
Do you know how much traffic come through there?
But yeah, that's one of those things that's just consistently seeing you, but no content. But yet it's bringing a deal to them one way or another.
And then when people don't have anybody that's immediately close to them, and they think about real estate, even they want to buy or sell, the first thing gonna come to their mind is, "Hey, look, I was sitting over there at that red light,
And I saw
or I
that
was
sign.
passed through that street and I saw that sign.
Call
I'm gonna call. I'm gonna go
Lord.
through there again and call."
such and such, such and such.
It's the consistency of the marketing that's going to help build the brand. I honestly think that. You know what I'm saying? So I think your friend had a point to where he was telling you just post three times a day. Obviously, you don't want to be out there posting just nonsense, just dumb stuff. But I think the consistency of getting in front of people will consistently have people following you, and then just trying to see what you're gonna post that day and what you got going on.
Yeah, and the ideas of branding versus marketing, when we don't as agents, we really don't talk about branding like that until we have this premises in our mind until we reach a certain level where it's all about the branding of us. Once we reach the mega level, which the mega teams and such, like the cats that we talking about, the husband and wife, and they're quote unquote at that 0.5 or $2 million, whatever $1 million status, to where their branding is now their marketing. If that makes sense. When we talk about McDonald's, they're not telling you to come buy the Big Mac. They're just telling you to come to McDonald's. Like how you said, just loving it. They're not saying to come buy one specific thing. They're just telling you to come to McDonald's. And so when we're rookies into the business, we're so focused on that. And as we grow, we have to learn to grow from just marketing to branding ourselves, because our branding becomes, I believe, our marketing at that moment.
Oh, 100%. I think it's a tough thing where there's no right or wrong when it comes to marketing. There's a right or wrong when it comes to branding.
Oh, yes.
Right? So, you know what I'm saying? You definitely don't want to brand yourself as the a-hole. You don't want to brand yourself as the don't know anything, the unknowledgeable. You definitely don't want to unknowingly brand yourself to something that that's a negative connotation to it. But now when it comes to marketing, I think, you know what I'm saying, you can as long as you're following the laws, right? Even if the ad or whatever the marketing is not effective, at least you're getting yourself out there where you're recognizable. So maybe this one is not effective, but the next one that I get out there, they'll recognize the name, right?
Yeah.
Or they'll recognize the brand, or however you want to tag yourself. The most important thing is just to get the marketing out there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just to get in front of people, get your brand in front of people to where they can recognize it, and then you can stay consistent with it.
So how about this? Do you believe a brand should be the person or a symbol
I think the brand should be the person.
in real estate?
I think the brand should be the person.
Well, Remax is the brand. It's the balloon.
It is, and it's recognizable by the balloon. KW is what? What's they recognizable by? They don't really. It's just red.
Just the red and
It's
black.
just red and black. Yeah, that's it. But to me, you know what I'm saying, I think the brand is yourself. I think you can actually peg yourself a name or whatever the case may be. If you just want to try to do something different or stand apart from everybody else just from a regular name. But there's plenty of people that brand their name. It's Joe Smith Realty. Regular name, brand that they've tried to brand. There could be Kelly Smith Realty, Kelly Smith and Associates, whatever the case may be. I think a lot of people have actually branded their own name and tried not to step out the box to try to brand something else.
Well, I think I would honestly prefer a symbol versus my name.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? A symbol, like, just like, why go away from a time-tested example of McDonald's? No matter what if the word McDonald's is not under the golden arches, you can assume if it's red and yellow and it got the arches on it, it's a McDonald's.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Have you seen the actual McDonald's name on it, on the building anywhere?
It has been up under the golden arches. It got
For
the
a
golden
while,
arches in
I don't think
McDonald's.
the arches have the name under anymore.
Don't give me the line.
I don't think they have it because I know they don't have it on the building.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but it's been around for so long. But so, like, when you have history like that and you've been around for so long, I think you can afford to do things like that. But I think when your brand is not big enough, and you're just now starting off, I don't necessarily see how a symbol is exactly going to help you. Because if you're just now meeting somebody for the first time and they're just now taking a look at you, they're going to want to pay attention more to the actual words or the actual company itself as opposed to the symbol that's on there.
True.
So I think history over a certain period of time will allow for you to actually use just a symbol. But McDonald's is one of those that, like the apple. The apple, you can see the apple and automatically know what that is.
Yeah, and it
But
don't have the word apple on it.
they've been around for years,
But you know,
decades.
Apple is not even Apple. Apple is supposed to be Macintosh, but they use a symbol as the apple.
Yeah.
Hey, McDonald's don't use this sign no more. They use a different. They don't have the sign with the McDonald's on it. They just got the golden arches in red.
Just the golden arches. That's it.
Yeah, they don't even have the word McDonald's no more.
Yeah, it's all about marketing. You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing is just to get out there. Get out there and then get your name out there, and then and kind of tweak and figure out what becomes most effective.
And become who you and be true to who you are. You know, for me to this day, I still really wouldn't understand what my brand is. I know I would have a symbol for a fact. I know that I quote unquote say I'm investor friendly. So, and to be honest with you, trying to identify what your brand is really difficult because it makes you think past in what your day to day and what your core values are, what your core beliefs are, because they do have to go hand in hand with the brand that you're quote unquote coming up for yourself.
They do, and then it makes sure that you have to stay consistent with it as well too. A lot of people end up changing their mind. You know, hey, look, I want to go with this brand here. This is my brand. And then all of a sudden, you know, they got the shiny object syndrome. Ooh. And then you'll say, ooh, well, now I want to go with that. So then now people confused. They don't know who the hell your company is. Because you keep switching. You got the shiny object syndrome. You know what I'm saying? You keep bouncing around. Like, I want my tagline to be this. I want my tagline to be that. Pick something and stick with it.
Okay, that's true. That is true. Because I'm thinking about it from just personally. How would I do the branding side of it? Solid thought.
Solid thought.
You know what I mean? Because we get to a level where that, like I just said, like that becomes important. How you're perceiving yourself to the world.
It's a tough thing to think about. But the main thing is definitely put thought into it, and then definitely talk to the inner circle around you. The inner circle around you, just, hey, look, man, you know what you think this sound like. Whatever the case may be. And then make sure you talk to several different people, because sometimes your inner circle is your relatives, and your relatives might lie to you because they don't want to hurt you. So, you know what I'm saying? Make sure when you take a survey, you know what I'm saying, you get enough people included in that survey to get what they think about the brand, about whatever marketing you want to do, or whatever the case may be. Just make sure you get opinions about it. Just kind of see what they think. We're going to get ready. What you got? We're going to get ready to wrap this thing up. Real talk takeaways. What you got?
For whatever direction you decide to go when it comes to either real estate or whatever business that you're in, just don't forget about branding. You know, I'm very honest about this thing. To be honest with you, I haven't really put as much thought into branding as I should. It's always just all about trying to keep those revenue dollars generating, and let that part. I was always, I guess it will take care of itself. But if we don't put enough emphasis or time or thought into it, it won't take care of itself. You'll be constantly. People won't know who you are outside of what you. I'm just a realtor. What type of realtor are you? Do you do this? I do that. I do everything. But it's like we say, when you look at the McDonald's brand, you know, okay, the Golden Arches, you got the Big Mac, French fries, a quarter pounder with cheese, double cheeseburger. You know what I'm saying? On a sesame seed bun.
Sesame seed bun. No, I love it. So the most important thing is here, just to kind of think about. It's very important that you sit and spend the time to think about what exactly is your brand. And then once you decide what your brand is, then you can move forward with marketing, because you know what kind of marketing you want to do, because you know what kind of people that you want to attract.
Of course.
And especially when you get ready to start, you know what I'm saying, any people is the people that you want to attract. You just want business to come in, right? But as you grow, and then as you get more and more years of experience in any kind of business, you're going to start to want to have those clientele that you want to actually call your niche. Like, you know what I'm saying, that's what you want to specialize in.
Right.
A lot of agents, you know, kind of say that they're all over the place, they're all over the city, or whatever the case may be. And then some agents are just like, hey, look, this is my niche. I specialize in the Spring area. I specialize in the Woodlands area. Whatever the case may be, they want to be known as the guy in that area. So whatever it is, just move full force to it. Outside of that, we're going to get ready to get out of here. Make sure you guys check us out on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave us some feedback. But outside of that, we'll catch y'all on the next episode. All right, peace.
Later.